The channel crossings. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah, so I mean, this goes to the immigration situation first. So if you want to get the doc for that one, just so he's ready, you don't have to put it up yet. So Priti Patel came out, I think it's yesterday, and she's very proud that the immigration bill is finally passed. So that's the change from the system we had before to the points-based one, where you have to get a certain number of points to qualify for a work visa. And this is something the Brexiteers wanted. It's something a lot of Conservative voters wanted, or at least people who voted Conservative. And a lot of people have been upset because of these illegal channel crossings, that they think that the Conservatives are failing on immigration. And we'll get into the channel crossings, but I wanted to talk about this because it's happened finally, and I want people to understand what's actually happening. This used to be UKIP policy, and everyone called it extremist, and we can't do that in the UK, we need endless arguments. And so they've finally done it. So we now actually have UKIP policy as government policy, which...
Well, that's good. I don't understand why there is even a difficulty in achieving this goal, though.
Well, because... it's not. As proven, it's now passed. So if we go to slide 2...
But what I mean is, like, they're like, we're going to get it down to tens of thousands, and they got it down to 500,000. Why can't they not just refuse to issue visas?
They can. The Parliament is sovereign. They just don't want to, is all I can think.
Okay.
I don't know the specifics of why, but if you can zoom out a bit more, yeah, that's perfect. So this is the system. You have to get 70 points. If there's any Americans watching who want a better immigration system, this might be up your alley, because your system I know is a mess as well. If this works. Let's see if it works. So there are 3 points that are mandatory. If you want to get a work visa, you've got to have a job offer and a sponsor, which is harder than you'd think. Job at the appropriate skill level, so you can't be applying for a PhD position when you don't have one, and speaks English at the required level. So no more people who literally can't speak English.
Yep.
And that's I was quite surprised that they included that. I don't know why, but no one had ever spoke about the idea that we ought to actually speak English. We need to make this...
Really? In England? We should have people who speak English? That's weird.
I remember Nigel Farage talking about this, and him getting a lot of kickback on it. Because he was like, how dare you say this? We should
How dare you suggest Swahili isn't as valid in England as English is?
Yeah, well, the argument was more about, isn't it wonderful that in London you can hear every language of the world, and that shows how cosmopolitan it is? And he just turned around and went, not when I'm on a bus trying to make friends. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if I'm trying to talk to people and they don't speak the language, well then...
Yeah, why is that good?
No, it's not good.
Yeah.
So I'm quite glad they included that. I wasn't expecting them to, but that gives you 50 points.
More based UKIP policy, making it into the Conservative manifesto. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, something to be happy about if you were concerned about immigration and you voted for the Conservatives or supported them on this basis.
They did something.
Good work, Priti Patel. You got this done. So the first point there is you have to have a minimum salary. So I think they have it listed on there as 23,000. That's now up to, I think, 25,000 because of this year's increase. It's taken that long to get through.
Right.
So you have to have £25,000 of a salary. So the average wage in the UK median is £30,000. So that's $585 a week. I don't know, maybe $700 a week for Americans who are watching.
Something about that.
Yeah, so it's basically, we're getting rid of the ability of people to get low-skilled work. We are not interested in more low-skilled work in the UK, not because we don't like them or anything like that. It's just we have too much.
Yeah, we've got more than enough people in our own country.
Yeah, I mean, there are very few countries and populations that enjoy large amounts of low-skilled immigration.
Well, who needs it?
I mean, maybe if you have a demographics pyramid that's a bit
maybe
up.
Switzerland might need low-skill immigration.
Yeah, well, you hear this argument about Japan and maybe Germany with the demographics.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even sure if I'm convinced about that, because they seem to be doing fine. But well, Germany tried it, and it doesn't seem to be going well. But
yeah,
so that's the first thing. It's about getting rid of low-skill immigration at least. So that's nice. It also ends free movement, so no more mass immigration from any new countries joining the EU, because we are out. So none of that. If they want to add Ukraine or a bunch of Yugoslav nations that haven't joined yet, we don't care.
Turkey.
Probably Turkey. Well,
Syria maybe eventually.
Not with the way Erdogan's going, but
well, I mean,
Europe could change its standards. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Germany will change its opinion on that.
But of course, there's this side issue going on with channel migrants. So people illegally crossing from the French side to the English side of the channel. So if you give us the next slide. So this is just the data for how many have been crossing. And it's exploded. So 2018, 200 odd people. 2019, a couple of blanks there, but about 2,000. And then 2020, 2,400 by June. That's now gone up to an estimate of 10,000 this year.
10,000?
Yeah, in a single year of illegal crossings, where we used to have a couple of hundred.
Sounds like we need to build a wall.
In the sea?
Build a wall. Do you think it can't happen?
Wall of warships.
A wall of wood, Callum. This is precisely what the Oracle at Delphi would say.
I don't get that reference.
Oh my God. Philistine. When the Persians were invading Greece, the Athenians went to the Oracle at Delphi and said, look, we need some advice. What can we do? And then the Oracle said, well, you can save your city behind a wall of wood or something like this. And there were two interpretations of this. One was that they should build the giant navy that Themistocles wanted. Or the second one was that they can build a wooden barricade on top of the Parthenon and barricade themselves in. Most of the
Please tell me
Athenians-
they went with the fleet.
Yeah, most of the Athenians went with the fleet
Yeah.
and won, but there was a small percentage that stayed at the top of the Acropolis, barricaded in, and they just got killed by the Persians.
Ah.
But the Persians did get defeated by the Wall of Wood, which was the navy.
This might sound a little bit wrong, but it ties in with Douglas Murray's book, The Strange Death of Europe.
Why?
Where his conclusions were endlessly, you can't just barricade yourselves in your countries and not control immigration. You have to stop them at the border and make sure they don't get in.
Yes.
So you have to go out and fight.
Yes.
You can't just barricade in the keep.
You need a Leonidas-style border policy.
I've just coloured in an average. So we're average of 900 people a month to make up to 10,000 for that entire period of 2018 to 2020. So you can see it just growth, pure growth, even in the years when the seas are rougher.
And I think it's important to stress that these people don't have any legitimate reason for going, do they? They're safe in France. They have to go to quite extreme lengths to try and actually make the crossing, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to a clip later on of a debate in Parliament about this. But Nigel Farage has been massively on this, and now the Conservatives are saying it too. Which is, look, these people either came through a safe country like Turkey, Greece, Italy, Spain, or something like that, and then they've made their way to France, another safe country. I mean, if you've come from Greece, you've come through like 20 or something.
Yeah.
They've got no right. I mean, I'm sorry. You are in the first safe country. Transporting you to the UK will not make you any safer.
Yeah.
It won't make your application even valid.
The means that they're doing it, stealing boats and stealing equipment.
Yep.
And then making the crossing and things like this, or getting it paid for them by some NGO or something like this. And didn't the French government actively try and prevent them from getting access to boats?
Yeah, so I believe in northern France, the French police have made it so you have to, there's some more steps to getting a boat.
Yeah.
Because people kept turning up and just, I'll have 10, please. It's,
Where are they getting the money from? This just really makes me wonder.
It's not really that effective, though, because these organised gangs are master criminals. They know what they're doing. So they just get them from Germany or another southern part of France, truck them up, it only takes a day, and then sell them on for twice the price so someone can go over. Right. So there's not that much they can do on that side, but they can stop people going over and bring them back. So the recommendations the Migration Watch chairman gives is come to an agreement with the French to ensure that anyone setting off is immediately returned. So anyone comes off the boat, off the shore, the British find them, the French find them. We have an agreement that no, they go back because they're obviously illegal. We're not taking them in.
Yep.
They came from your shore. Perfectly reasonable thing to do. My understanding with Priti Patel is that she's not able to do this yet because we haven't left the EU. We'll see whether or not she's lying afterwards. I
thought
guess
we did leave the EU though.
Not in officialdom though, because
Right. Okay.
I have to wait to January.
But the thing is, haven't there been videos of people going down and filming the migrants turning up, and
Yes.
the police will arrest the person filming the migrants?
Yeah. So they're using coronavirus restrictions to stop people reporting on the story.
Wow.
That's essentially what's happening, is my understanding. But,
I can't believe that these coronavirus restrictions are already being put to illegitimate use.
oh God, who could have guessed?
Yeah. What a shock.
But they're just random people. People concerned with it who live either locally or just have a big problem with it, going down and filming.
Yeah.
A person like Nigel Farage isn't going to get stopped by the police, so he went down and filmed them. He filmed the crossovers where the French were just handing off migrants to the English to take.
Yeah.
And this has probably been going on for years.
Yeah, I saw his allegation that French boats were guiding them over to Dover.
He filmed them.
Yeah, he films them doing allegations being doing a lot of heavy lifting here. The video of them doing it.
Oh, there are no claims of allegations. There is video evidence of the allegations.
There's only claims or allegations.
Yeah, so that's the first one. Make an agreement that, no, come on, they're illegal, they come from your shore, they're going back to your shore. Perfectly sensible. Second one, substantially increase the number of removals of people with no right to be here, including failed asylum seekers. To the Conservatives' credit, my understanding is this is already happening.
Right.
The Minister for Immigration Enforcement gave a speech in Parliament saying, nope, we've already sent 1,000 back. If anyone comes here and they are a failed asylum seeker elsewhere, immediately going back. We're not even going to waste our time with you because you already failed there, you're going to fail here.
Yeah.
If you get that first agreement that you can just send them back, this issue will likely dry up and the money problem won't be a problem anyway. Because I'm not against, and I don't think anyone is, trying to help out refugees, genuine refugees. I mean, if you read a lot about people who escape terrible regimes in East Asia, you can hear about them being sent to the UK, and they absolutely deserve it. If they go home, they will be murdered by the regime for being a dissident or a defector or anything else, right? People in France who are asylum seekers who come to England, when returned, do not get murdered by the French government. They are not hung in the streets. They get the application process again and told, fill it out.
Not in this century, anyway.
Go back to the revolution.
Yeah, there have been previous centuries where literally refugees from France would have been killed.
Yeah, but they would have been the aristocrats anyway,
Yes.
wouldn't they? So, not the new French. Anyway, let's go to the next slide. So that's the status of what's going on there.
Right.
This I just found funny. I wanted to include that we always get told, oh, it's women and children. Come on, have a heart, have some compassion.
Don't look at the pictures because it doesn't look like women and children.
Don't look at the video
pictures,
evidence.
but yeah.
Yeah, in which case, why did the BBC have to write a whole article on the fact that we found a child?
Yeah. Oh yeah, look, the way it says a small child.
Yeah, that's the wording.
One child.
If you go to the wording underneath as well, a child was found among 100 migrants who crossed into the UK on small boats on Monday. 1 in 100 on a single day. We had, I think it was 160 yesterday.
Yes.
No child, or at least no BBC article on the child.
And I love the way that they can accurately identify it as being a child because it's small and doesn't have a beard.
The immigration bill's done. That's coming in on the 1st of January. So that's what's happening with that. Have some patience. If they don't fix the problem, then we can say, you failed. With the channel crossings, what would you expect from a wet Conservative minister to say about this sort of thing?
Oh, we've got a duty to help these people. They're global citizens, maybe. Full-on Agenda 21 rhetoric, maybe. Who
It's
knows?
a lot of children.
Yeah, it'll all be tugging your heartstrings and appealing to very abstract ideals, and none of it will be dealing with the day-to-day concerns of what the problems are.
Yeah, I mean, I would have expected this too. And I watched the whole debate, and I've clipped out a couple of bits here just of the opposition, so you can see how wet they are. And then the Conservative minister, who, quite frankly, just sounds like Nigel Farage.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Let's,
And start treating refugees detained in hotels or in boats in the Channel with respect, dignity and compassion.
With terms such as the clandestine Channel threat commander contributes to fueling tensions, the scapegoating of asylum seekers and indeed racism.
Frankly lacking in compassion.
Facing a UK government intent upon enforcing upon them its hostile environment. So can I ask the Minister, do either of these things give him any shame?
And isn't the truth, Mr Speaker, that the government's approach to this whole issue
So this is Labour,
has frankly
SNP,
been defined
the whole roster.
by a lack of compassion and a lack of competence?
The inconvenient truth, of course, is that Britain has long played the role of agitator, making worse global crises that destabilise regions and displace people.
There is nothing improper about seeking to police our country's borders, and this government will not apologise for doing so. The people arriving in Dover yesterday and today have left from France. France is a safe country with a well-functioning asylum system. And if their principal objective was to seek refuge from persecution, they could easily have done it in France or indeed any of the other countries through which they passed before arriving in Calais. The people making these crossings on small boats are leaving a safe European country, France, having often travelled previously through countries like Germany and Italy, which are also safe countries with an asylum system.
I'm glad to see the Conservatives actually standing by something. I mean, this is it's an irrefutable point.
That's only a small taste of how based he was. He kept saying that point, which is like, look, they're safe, I don't care, I'm sending them back. Like, you come here, you have failed asylum, you're going back. Like,
Good, that's how it should work, that's the process.